Hello, Mima here from Go Ask Now Academy. I hope you all are doing good. Today we'll study the chapter 2, which is the matter around us pure? In the previous chapter, we have studied about the matter, how particles affect, how temperature affects, how pressure affects in the matter, the state of matter, the three states we have studied, solid, liquid, and gas. Now we will study like whether the matter which is present in our surrounding is pure or is the matter around us pure or not. Okay. So, firstly, how do we judge whether the milk, ghee, butter, and the salt, spices, mineral water, or the juice that we buy from the market are pure? So, have you ever noticed that the pure written on the packs of these consumable? Okay, like pure ghee, pure milk, and all. So, for a common person, pure means having a no adulteration. Okay, like firstly, we know that if there is no adulteration, no mixture, and all, then it's fine. It's pure. But for the scientist, all these things are actually the mixture of a different substance. Hence, they are not pure, according to the scientist. Now, for example, milk is actually a mixture of a water, fat, protein, etc. When the scientist says that the something is pure, it means that all the constituent particles of the substance are the same in their chemical nature. A pure substance consists of a single particle. In other words, a substance is a pure single form of matter. If milk is only the milk, then yes, it is pure. If it is having water and all, then obviously it is not pure. It is a mixture. So according to the scientists, it's a very clear thing that if it is having a single substance, okay, the single substance is present in the matter, then yes, it is pure. If not, then it's not. As we look around, we can see the most of the common matter around us exists as a mixture of two or more components. Just for example, seawater, mineral, soil, etc. These all are mixtures. Okay, they are they all are considered as a mixture. Now we got the one new word mixture. What is mixture? So mixture are constituted by more or one kind of pure form of matter. Okay, it's not constituted by the single form, but yes, more than one kind of pure matter is there. Then it's a mixture. We know that dissolved or sodium chloride can be separated from the water by the physical process of evaporation. However, sodium chloride itself, a pure substance, cannot be separated by the physical process into its chemical constituent. Similarly, sugar is the substance which contain only one kind of pure matter and it's a composition of a same throughout. Okay. So soft drinks and the soil are not a pure substance. Whatever the source of the pure substance may be, it always have a same characteristics of a property. So therefore, we can say that mixture contain more than one pure substance. This is called mixture. Okay. Now the types of mixture. Depending upon the nature of component, they are that are form of mixture. We can have a different type of mixtures. Let us see with this activity. Let us divide the class into the group A, B, C, and D. Okay. Group A takes the beaker containing a 50 ml of water, one spatula full of copper and sulfate powder. Group B is 50 ml of water, two spatula full of copper, sulfate in the powder. Group C and D are taken the different amount of copper sulfate and potassium permanganate or a common salt sodium chloride and the mix of a given component to the form of a mixture. So report the observation uniformly in the color and texture. Now group A and B have obtained a mixture which has a uniform composition throughout. So such mixture is called as a homogeneous mixture. When it's having a uniform composition, okay, this particular kind of mixture is known as a homogeneous mixture or a solution throughout the process. Now, some other example of the such mixtures are salt dissolved in water, sugar dissolved in water. Compare the color of the solution of a two different two groups, and though the both of the groups have a obtained copper sulfate solution, but the intensity of a color solution is different. So this shows that the homogeneous mixture can have a variable composition. Now the group C and the D have obtained a mixtures which contain physically distinct parts and have a non-uniform composition. Such mixtures are called as a heterogeneous mixture. Okay, homogeneous we have started, but here what is happening is they are physically distinct, okay, and have a non-uniform composition. It was like uniform composition, it means a homogeneous. When it's not having a homogeneous composition, then a mixture is called a heterogeneous mixture. And a mixture of a sodium chloride and iron filling, salt, iron, sulfur, and oil and water are the example of a heterogeneous mixture. Okay. Now, one activity is there. Let us again divide the class into the 4 groups, A, B, C, D. Okay. Distribute the example for the few crystal of a copper sulfate to the group A. On the one spatula of full of copper sulfate group B. Chalk powder and the wheat flour powder to the group C. And a few drop of milk or the ink to the group D. Now, each group should add the given sample in water and stir the properly using the glass of rod. Okay. Are the particles in the mixture visible? We have to observe it. Direct beam of light from the torch through the beaker containing the mixture and observe from the front. Was the path of the beam is light visible? Leave the mixture and distribute it a few minutes and set up the filtration apparatus. In the meantime, is the mixture stable or do the particle begin settle after the some time? Filter the mixture and is there any residue on the filter paper? So these are the observation you will have to do. Also, you just discuss the result and the form A and B have got a solution, C will got a suspension and D has got a colloidal solution. After this observation, okay, see, we shall learn about the solution suspension colloidal in this following section. One beaker is there, test tube filtered, the liquid, glass rod is there, liquid descended in the funnel, filter paper folded like it will be like this and then cone of the filter paper. Okay, so this is the filtration process we have started. Now after the type of mixture we'll study the what is solution. A solution is a homogeneous mixture of a two or more substance. Okay, you came across various type of solution in your daily life. Lemonade, soda water, etc. all are the example of the solution. Usually we think that a solution is a liquid that contains either a solid, liquid or the gas dissolved in it. But we can also have a solid solution, alloys, gaseous solution which is air. In the solution there is a homogeneity at the particle. For example, lemonade tastes the same throughout. This slows the particles, sugar or the salt are evenly distributed in the solution. So this is what solution means. Now what is alloy? Alloy. So alloy are the mixture of a two or more metals or more metal and a non-metal cannot be separated into their components by the physical method. But still an alloy is considered as a mixture because it shows the property of its constituent and can have a variable composition. For example, brass is a mixture of approximately 30% of zinc and a 70% of a copper. So this is what alloy means. A solution has a solvent and a solute as its component. Solution is having both solvent and solute, okay, as a component. The component of a solution, this component of the solution that dissolves the other component in it. Usually the component present in a larger amount of the solvent and the component of the solution that is dissolved in the solvent usually present in the lesser quantity is called as solute. Okay, so this is how the solution made up of with the solvent and a solute both. So there are some few examples. A solution of the sugar in the water is a solid liquid solution. In this solution, sugar is the solute and water is the solvent. A solution of iodine in alcohol known as a tincture of iodine has an iodine solid and the solute alcohol is as a solvent. So they are simply representing the solvent and solute. Aerated drinks like a soda water etc. are the gas in the liquid solution and the contain of carbon dioxide gas as a solute of water, liquid as a solvent. Air is a mixture of a gas and gas. Air is a homogeneous mixture of a number of gases. If two main constituents are oxygen, 21% of a nitrogen, then 78% of nitrogen, 21% of oxygen. There are other gases present in the small quantities. So these are the examples for the solute and the solvent. Now, the properties of a solution. Firstly, a solution is a homogeneous mixture as we have already studied. So the particle of a solution are smaller than a 1 nanometer, which is 10 raised to the power minus 9 meter in diameter. So they cannot be seen by the naked eyes. Okay, and because because a very small particle size, they do not scatter a beam of light passing through the solution. So the path light is not visible in a solution. So the solute particles cannot be separated from the mixture by the process of filtration. The solute particles do not settle down when the left distributed and that is solution is stable. So these are the major properties of a solution. Okay. Now the concentration of solution. In activity, like we have observed that A and B different states of solution. Okay, so we understand that the solution is a relative proportional of the solute and a solvent. This is what we have studied. Solution means the solvent and solute. So that can be varied depending upon the amount of solute present in solution. It can be called as a dilute, concentrated, or a saturated solution. Okay, when amount of solute present in the solution, it can be said as a dilute, concentrated, or a saturated solution. Dilute and concentrated are a comparatively terms in activity. The solution of the obtained by a group as a dilute as compared to the obtained by the group D. One activity is there based on it. We just take the approximate 50 ml of a water, each in the 2 beakers, and add a salt in 1 beaker and a sugar or a barium chloride in a second beaker with a continuous stirring. When the no more solute can be dissolved, the heat of the concentrated beaker to raise the temperature by the 5 degree Celsius. So start adding solute again. So is the amount of the salt and the sugar barium chloride that can be dissolved in the water given the temperature is same. At a particular temperature, the solution that has dissolved as much solute as it is capable of dissolving is said to be saturated solution. Whatever the capability of dissolving is there, it is said to be as a saturated solution. Now, in other words, when there is a no more solute can be dissolved in a solution at a given temperature, this particular is known as saturated solution. The amount of a solute present in the saturated solution temperature is called its solubility. Okay. If the amount of solute contained in the solution is less than the saturation level, okay, whatever the amount is there in the solute, it is less than the saturation level, then it is known as the unsaturated solution. Here we have studied the saturated, but when the amount of solute contained in a solution is less than the saturation level, okay, then this particular solution is considered as a unsaturated solution. What would happen if you were to take a saturated solution at a certain temperature and it's cool slowly? So we can infer from our activity that the different solution have a different, as given solvent, have a different solubilities at the same temperature. So the concentration of solution is the amount of like mass and volume. This is also we have studied of a solute present is given mass and volume of solution. Okay. Now, there are various ways of expressing the concentration of the solution. But here we have learned only the 3 method. First is mass by the mass percentage of a solution, like mass of solute, mass of solution into 100. This is the first way. Second way is mass of a volume, percentage of a solution, like mass of solute upon volume of solution into 100. And third one is volume of a solute, a volume by volume percentage. It means volume of solute upon volume of solution into 100. So these are the 3 ways. Okay. Let's see with the example based on it only. A solution contains a 40 gram of a common salt and a 320 gram of a water. So calculate the concentration of the mass percentage in the solution. So mass of solute will be the salt, which is 40 gram, and solvent will be the water, which is 320. So we know that mass of solution is based on the mass of solvent plus mass of solute. So we just add it and we get 360. So mass of solute is 40, mass of solution we got is 360 into 100 and we get 11.1 percentage. So this will be the concentration in terms of mass and the mass percentage of the solution. So simply first calculate the mass of solution, and with the help of this formula, mass percentage of solution, you just calculate it 11.1. Okay, now let's move ahead with the suspension thing. What is suspension? So a non-homogeneous systems like those obtained by the group C, an activity in which solid are dispersed in the liquid, okay, and are called a suspension. Whenever the solid is dispersed in liquid are called suspension. A suspension is a heterogeneous. It's not a homogeneous. It's a heterogeneous mixture with the solute particles do not dissolve but remain suspended. Okay, simply as it's a heterogeneous in nature, so it will not be dissolved, but it will remain suspended throughout the bulk of medium, and the particle of a suspension are visible too by the naked eyes. We can easily see it. Now the properties of suspension. So firstly, suspension is heterogeneous mixture. Second is the particle of suspension can be seen by the naked eyes. Okay. And third is the particle of the suspension is scatter the beam light passing through it by the making path visible. Also, the solute particle settle down when the suspension left undistributed. That is, the suspension is unstable and they can be separated from the mixture by the process of filtration. When the particles settle down, the suspension breaks and it does not scatter light anymore. Okay, so these are the properties of a suspension. Now, let's go ahead with what is a colloidal solution. A mixture obtained by the group D. Okay, in the activity we have studied now. So whatever that the mixture obtained in the group D activity is called as a colloidal or a colloidal solution. The particle of a colloid are uniformly spread throughout the solution due to the relatively smaller size of particle as compared that of suspension. The mixture appears to be a homogeneous, but actually a colloidal solution is a heterogeneous mixture. And for example, milk. Because of the small size of colloidal particle, we cannot see them with the naked eyes. Whether in the suspension it was possible, but in the colloidal solution it was not It's not possible. But these particles can easily scatter by the beam of visible light as observed in activity. So the scattering of beam of light is called as a Tyndall effect. That particular effect is known as Tyndall effect. This is something important. Okay. And after the name of a scientist who discovered this effect, so Tyndall effect. What is Tyndall effect? So Tyndall effect can be seen observed with the beam of light enters in the room through the small hole, and this happens due to the scattering of light by the particles of the dust and the smoke in the air. Okay, see, this image is representing the Tyndall effect. So solution of a sulfate does not show the Tyndall effect, but B, the mixture of water shows the Tyndall effect. Okay, so this is this light beam of light scattering. This is what the Tyndall effect means. See, this is the best picture of Tyndall effect. Tyndall effect can be observed within the sunlight passes through the canopy of a dense forest, and in the forest, mist contain the tiny droplets of the water, which act as a particle of a colloid dispersed in a air. This picture is representing the Tyndall effect. Now, the properties of a colloid. So colloid is a heterogeneous mixture. The size of particle of a colloid is too small to be individually seen with the naked eyes. Also, the colloid are big enough to scatter a beam of light passing through it and make a path visible. They do not settle down when they're undistributed. They collide and are quite stable like this. They see it's perfectly stable. They do not simply settle down. They are like simply like not undistributed and even quite stable, we can say. Also, they cannot be separated from the mixture by the process of filtration, but special technique separation is known as centrifugation can be used to separate the colloidal particles. Now, the component of a colloidal solution are a dispersed phase of a dispersion medium. The solute component or the dispersed particle in a solid form of dispersed phase and the component is dispersed phase suspended known as a dispersing medium, and the colloids are classified according to this state like solid, liquid and gas, dispersing in the medium and the dispersed phase. So a few common example are being given like we see it, and from this table you can see that they are very common in everyday life. So the common example of the colloid are liquid, dispersed phase, dispersed medium, type and example. So dispersed phase is liquid, dispersed medium is gas, type is aerosol, like our example will be fog, cloud and a mist. Solid, dispersed phase, dispersing medium is gas. Again, it's aerosol like smoke or automobile exhaust. Gas and liquid form means like a shaving cream. Emulsion will be the milk, phase and cream. Sol, it means like a milk of magnesia and a mud. Foam, it's foam, rubber, sponge and a pumice. Gel, it means jelly, cheese, butter. Solid salt, colored gemstone and a milky glass. So these are the very common examples of a colloid like which we can observe in our day-to-day life as well. So, okay, now let's move ahead with the physical and chemical changes. In a previous chapter, we have studied the physical properties of a matter and the property that can be observed specified like color, hardness, rigidity, fluidity, density, melting point, boiling point, etc. are the physical properties. So the interconversion of a state on a physical changes because of these changes occur without the change in composition, no change in the chemical nature of the substance. Although like ice, water vapor, all are the different, look different, display even the physical properties, they are chemically the same. So both water and a cooking oil are the liquid and their chemical characteristics are different. So they differ in a odor and a inflammability. We know that oil burns in the air, whereas the water extinguishes fire. It is the chemical property of oil that makes in the different form of water. Burning the chemical changes. During this process, the substance react with the another, undergo the change of chemical composition. Chemical changes brings change in the chemical property of matter, and we get a new substance, and the chemical change is called as a chemical reaction. We have studied about the physical changes, but here when the chemical change bring change in the chemical properties, okay, and we get a completely new substance. That particular changes or that particular chemical change is known as a chemical reaction. Now, during the burning of a candle, both physical and a chemical changes takes place. Like, can you distinguish these? It's a very common example for the chemical and physical changes. Now, what are the type of a pure substance? On the basis of the chemical composition, substance that can be classified either as a elements or a compound. So, elements. What are elements? Robert Boyle was the first scientist to use the term element in the 1661, and Antoine Laurent Lavoisier 1743 to 94, a French chemist, was the first to establish the experimentally using useful definition of an element. He defined an element as a basic of a form matter that cannot be broken down in the simpler substance by the chemical reaction. So element can be normally divided into the metals and the non-metal and the metalloids. Okay. So metal usually shows some of the following properties. First, they have a luster, shiny. They have a silvery gray, golden yellow color. They conduct a heat and electricity. They are ductile, can be drawn into the wires. They are malleable and can be hammered into the sheets. And they are a sonorous, making a ringing sound when they hit. Example of the metals are the gold, silver, copper, iron, and sodium, potassium, etc. Mercury and the only metal that is liquid at the room temperature. Now, non-metal usually show some of the following properties. They display a variety of colors. They are poor conductor of heat and the electricity. They are a non-lustrous, sonorous, or a malleable. Examples of a non-metals are hydrogen, oxygen, iodine, coal, coke, bromine, etc. Chlorine. Okay, some of the elements have an intermediate property between those of the metals and the non-metals. They are called metalloids. Example for the metalloids will be like a boron, silicon, germanium, etc. Now, the number of elements known at a present more than 100. 92 elements are from the periodic table, saying that 92 elements are the naturally occurring and the rest are man-made. Majority of the elements are the solid. 11 elements are the gaseous state in the room temperature. 2 elements are liquid at a room temperature, mercury and the bromine. Elements gallium and the cesium become the liquid at a temperature slightly above, which is like 303 Kelvin. Compounds. Let's move ahead with the new topic, which is compound. What is compound? A compound, actually, it is a substance composed of two or more elements. Elements we have studied, but the composition of two or more elements are chemically combined that one another to fix proportion is compound. Okay. So one activities that are based on it. You just divide the two groups, give the 5 gram of iron filling, 3 gram of sulfur powder into the china dish in the both group. Group 1, mix and crush the iron fillings in the sulfur powder. Group 2, mix and crush the iron filling, sulfur powder, heat the mixture strongly till the red hot, remove the flame and let the mixture cool. Group 1 and 2, check for the magnetism in the material obtained, bring the magnet near the material and check the material attracted towards the magnet. Okay. Also compare the texture and the color of the material obtained by the groups. Add the carbon disulfide to the one part of the material obtained ester well as filter. Also add a dilute sulfuric acid and the dilute hydrochloric acid to each other part of the material obtained. You just note the supervision is necessary for this activity. Perform all the steps of the elements and iron sulfur separatively. Okay, now what you have to answer is, you just answer, did the material obtained by these two groups look same? Which group has a obtained material magnetic properties? Can the separate component of the material obtained? So these are the observation. Okay, so the gas obtained of the group 1 is hydrogen, and it will be like colorless and odorless and a combustible. It is not advised to do the combustion test in the hydrogen class. The gas is obtained and the group 2 will be the hydrogen sulfide. Okay, it is a colorless gas with the smell of rotten eggs. Okay, first was hydrogen, second is hydrogen sulfide. You must have also observed that The product obtained by the group or the so different through the starting material were the same, and group 1 has carried the activity involving the changing physical change, where in the case of group 2 and the chemical change and chemical reaction has taken place. The material obtained by the group 1 is a mixture of the two substances and the substance given with the elements iron and sulfur. The property of the mixture are the same as that of constituent. Okay, see, this table is like representing the mixture and the compound thing. Okay, the difference. Firstly, mixture is element or compound, just a mix of the term form a mixture in the no new compound is formed. Element react to form the new compound. Okay, a mixture has a variable composition. Composition of each new substance is always fixed. A mixture shows the property of a constant substance. The new substance has totally different properties. The constituent can be separated fairly easily by the physical method. The constituent can separated only by the chemical or electrochemical reaction. Now, the material obtained by the group 2 is a compound. On heating the two element strongly, we get a compound which is totally a different property of compared to the element. The composition of compound is the same throughout. We can observe that the texture and the color of the compound are same throughout, and thus we can summarize the physical and chemical nature of the matter in the following graphic nature. See, this chart is the matter, solid, liquid, gas, pure substance, mixture substance. Pure substance, element in compound. Mixture means a homogeneous and heterogeneous mixture. Okay, so element means cannot be broken into the simpler substance, like example copper, iron, hydrogen. Compound is simply it makes a new thing, have a mixed composition, can be broken element by the chemical, electrochemical reaction like water, methane, etc. Homogeneous uniform composition, heterogeneous non-uniform composition. For example, sugar in the water, salt for sulfur, carbon dioxide, and water alcohol, etc. Your examples will be like sand, sugar, water, oil, etc. So this is about heterogeneous mixture. Now, what we have studied in this chapter. Okay, so in this chapter we have studied about the purity of substance, about the elements, about the compound, about the homogeneous mixture, about the heterogeneous mixture. Okay, so a mixture contains that one substance, either element and a compound. Okay, we have studied mixture can be like it will contain maybe the element or maybe the compound mixed in any proportion. Also, mixture can be used appropriate separation using the techniques, and also the solution is a mixture of two or more substance. The major component of a solution is called as a solvent, as a minor is solute. So we have also studied about the minor solute in the solvent because the solution is the combination of solute and solvent only. So the major component of solution is called as solvent, and minor, which is not playing that much pivotal role, which is known as solute. The concentration of a solution is the amount of solute present in per unit or per unit mass of volume. Okay, so this is the concentration of any solution. Third, next one is material that are insoluble in the solvent have a particles that are visible to naked eyes and form a suspension. Okay, like which are visible with the naked eyes as a suspension, and suspension is a heterogeneous mixture. Also, colloids are a heterogeneous mixture, and that in which the particle size is too small and can be seen by the naked eyes, and but big enough to the scatter light. So the colloid are useful in industry and daily life. The particle disperse phase in the medium in which they distributed is a dispersion medium. Now, one more is pure substance can be element or the compounds. Okay. An element is a form of matter that can be broken by the chemical reaction into the simplest substance, and a compound is a substance composed of a two or more different type of elements chemically combined in a fixed proportion. Properties of a compound are a different form of property of a compound are the different from its constituent elements, whereas the mixture shows the property of constant elements or compound. So basically, in this chapter, we have studied about the solution, about the mixture, about the compound, a pure substance. Pure substance made up of two major things, which are like elements or the compound. Then mixture we have studied, heterogeneous and homogeneous. The Tyndall effect we have studied, a scatter of light when it is possible with any solution, then particular effect of that sunlight is known as a Tyndall effect. Okay, examples for the element, what are actually element, what are the compounds, the solution thing, the solvent and solution, like the combination of a solute and solvent is known as solution only, the mixture and the compound, that difference. So basically these all things we have started in this chapter. But still, if you have any doubts or you want a teacher to guide you personally, you can join one-to-one live tutoring at Guasnow Academy. That they will help you to learn each concept with ease. And just thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next chapter.